This is season 4, aka the final season. While season 3 was airing, which was the fall of 2012 to the spring of 2013, during that time, I was filming all these other episodes that originally was going to be for the third season, but I decided to split it in half and use these episodes for season 4, and also shoot a finale, because during season 3 we were thinking about doing a movie. Dan had an idea for a movie, and I had an idea for what we could do with a movie. And a lot of those ideas, and we could have done a movie, but that would have been the end of the show. We never would have done this if we had done a movie. We had to pick either one or the other. And so I decided to do this because editing the show and airing the show was the most fun. I remember we shot the finale and everything, and plus we were also moving out of the house that I was living in again because, okay, it's so funny. The first 2 seasons were filmed in my childhood home that I lived in for 12 years, okay? When we moved in the fall of 2011, after season 2 was shot, we were renting in the new house, which was the house we used for seasons 3 and 4. Well, when the 2-year lease was up, we decided to move from that house. And I thought, well, we're going to wrap up the show anyway. Let's have the finale be Dan moving out of the house. So that way, when people start moving stuff out of the house for real, it'll work with our plot, with our story. Like, the house is supposed to be empty because that's what the finale is going to be. We shot 90% of season 4 before it started to air. And then in the late summer of 2013, right before season 4 started to air, Mike and Elena and I came into the Shore House. We did an episode called The Record. And I remember it was at that moment, right after we were done finishing that episode, Mike told me that he didn't want to do the show anymore. Not that he had lost interest, it's just that he had too much going on, which I could see. I could understand that. And Dan was kind of leaning in that direction as well. And I think Elena was the only one that really wanted to keep going. I don't know what Julianne thought, and I was getting kind of tired of doing it, but, I'm happy that we got another season out of it, because this is my favorite season of the whole show, because I think we had some of our best shows here. We did an episode on here called I'm trying to remember what the name of it was. I mean, I know The Record is hands down one of my favorites of this season. That was a really good one. YouTube took that episode down because of the music copyright, but at some point I'm going to re-upload that episode. I'll just change the music so that way you can see it again. We did an episode in this season called The Plumbing, and I thought it would be funny if Mike and I were in the basement trying to fix the water pipes, which was an idea that I had in the second season when Andrew was under the contract with Mr. Drakers, and then eventually led over to Toby, but we never used it. So we decided to do it here in season 4, but rework it a little bit, and we decided to just, we're working on the pipes, and we don't know what we're doing. We're just hitting pipes with, almost kind of like it's almost kind of like the Three Stooges a little bit. We're just banging on pipes with a hammer. We're not fixing anything, and we just break a pipe and we flood the whole basement, which I thought was pretty funny. We also did an episode called The Comeback, which was an episode that was hard to do because that episode was actually taken from something that actually happened to me. And the footage that you see in that episode when I'm talking to Dan and Mike around the kitchen table in flashback, that's the real footage because it was being filmed at the time. So that was a real thing that happened to me. And also it was fun because I got my friend Ryan Timken to film the dream sequence, which is when I'm moonwalking on the stage. That was actually shot at my grade school because it was, I think we were having an event over there and, the gym was empty, and I asked my friend Ryan, I said, hey, can you film this moonwalking dream sequence that I'm going to do? And he goes, yeah, sure, because I needed a cameraman because the camera had to move. So, yeah, I have good memories of doing that. I left a little bit of the finale open. There's a moment Dan and Julianne go their separate ways, Andrew learns his lesson, Elena pulls the greatest prank. Toby, it's funny, when Toby leaves, I asked Mike if he could turn around and take one last look at the house before he left. I did that for a reason, because if we were to ever do a heavy-duty movie after the finale, which never happened, but if we were, I wanted to leave that little bit of the finale open, a little bit of the show open, so that if we did do a movie, I left a couple of loose ends for the movie that would lead into a movie, but we never did a movie, so it doesn't matter. And besides, Toby, everything's gonna work out fine for Toby. It'll work out okay for him. In 2015, I did talk to the cast members about maybe the idea of doing a movie, but it never really took off. I don't see us ever doing a reunion. I don't see that happening. I don't see that happening. If it does happen, fantastic, but I don't see that happening because it was one thing doing this show when we had just graduated high school at the time when we started doing the show, and we were in college. We were in like our freshman, sophomore, junior year of college by the time we ended the show. So it was one thing doing the show then. It's another thing doing the show when we're almost in our 30s and, we're like 27, 28 now. So, yeah, I don't see it happening. And plus, we all have our own lives now, so it's different. And also Elena, I think Elena's like 17 years old now. Like, she's not little anymore, so I don't see it happening. But for what we did, I'm glad we did. I mean, we did 42 episodes. I mean, when this show first began, it was shelved for a year and a half. This show was not supposed to happen, and everything that happened since the pilot aired on June 11th of 2011, almost 10 years ago, I'm really happy and grateful that we were able to do all of that stuff, even though it was hell making the show. But the product that we made, yeah, there's things I wish we could have changed here and there. There's some episodes we've done that I'm not particularly proud of. But for what we did, I'm glad we did it. I'm really glad, and I'm happy that Dan and Mike and Julianne put up with me and all the stressful times and all the things, and I would love to reconnect with them again. I'd love to talk to them again, because I miss these guys. I miss talking to them. I haven't seen them in like 5, 6 years. It's been a while. I'd love to see them again. It would be nice to see them again. This picture right here on the season 4 DVD was done by Dan McDermott, who's been in the Wonderland videos that I do on YouTube, and he was really good at doing Photoshop, because I was just learning at the time, because this DVD release came out shortly after the season ended, which was 2014. Yeah. I knew this was going to be the final season, and I wanted a picture with all 5 of us in it, but we never really took pictures of all 5 of us, because again, all 5 of us were never on the set together. So I took a picture of Mike wearing the suit, and I took a picture of Elena wearing the suit, and me, but we didn't have Dan or Julianne. So we had a picture of Julianne, and we had a picture of Dan, and I asked Dan McDermott, I said, hey, can you get all 5 of us wearing suits and get us in the same picture? And he said, yeah, absolutely. And he made this, and this is really good. I do like this picture. It makes for a really good cover. I'm proud I made that show when I did, and I'm so fortunate that I got to work with really gifted people who, to be honest, really sacrificed their time to do this, because we never got paid to do the show. We never really got anything out of it except just to entertain people. That was it. And we never really had a big audience for the show, which was fine. I was hoping that we would, but for what we did, I'm glad we did it. We've done some episodes that I'm not particularly proud of. I feel they weren't well written. But then we've done episodes that are like, I think still hold up, are hysterical, have really funny moments in them. And I'm just grateful that we did it. I'm really glad. And I always wanted to do a sitcom on YouTube. Well, I got to do it. I'm really proud of it, and I think they're proud of it too. I can't speak for them. I hope they are. I mean, like, they sacrificed their time, so they obviously wanted to do it. I mean, I hope I didn't force them to do this. But for what we did, I'm glad we did it. And I'm glad we did it for that long, actually. I didn't think this was going to go on for 4 seasons, No season 5, but, I'm glad we did it.